Hi there, this is Tarun Gill from Tarun Gill Fitness answering your fitness related queries. So I get asked this question a lot that Tarun, is there a way that you can actually transform yourself? Now before I answer that, I want you to have a look at a visual. You like what you saw? So as you can see, transformation is possible. I used to be a very fat kid, and people who know me for a couple of years would acknowledge that. Now I did manage to transform myself, but I kind of made it too complex. But I don't want you to kind of go through all that. So what I've done is I've kind of simplified it for you. What that simplification does is it just boils down to just 5 thumb rules. And what are those 5 thumb rules? I just want you to quickly take you through this. Thumb rule number 1, eat 5 times a day. Now all the dietitians, nutritionists talk about it, that you cannot suffice on 3 meals, you've got to eat more. When I say 5 times a meal, the mistake that usually people make, they kind of take pride in themselves saying that, I just ate 2 meals today, I skipped my breakfast, or I had a heavy lunch, so now what I can do is I'm going to take, probably a light dinner. That doesn't help. Now, think about it historically. Our body is a beautiful machine. It doesn't understand the difference between dieting or starvation. So what happens is when you don't eat, your body's metabolism naturally slows down. I'm sure you would have heard of it from many people that you got to eat, you don't want your body to go into that mode wherein it starts conserving energy. So now what you have done by not eating enough or by not eating at regular intervals after 2-3 hours, you have forced your body to conserve whatever it has been left with. There's nothing to burn. Even if your body was burning because you were eating, now you've self-induced starvation on it. And guess what the result would be? The body will start conserving energy rather than burning. So what I did was, that's the first thing I changed. I started eating. And the basic thumb rule to follow when you eat is eat till about 70% full. If you go beyond that, but I've seen people ask me that how much should we eat? So that comes to my point number 2. How do you plan your meals? How do you know that how much should be your portion control, how much carbs or how much fat or how much protein should you be eating? That's called the 1-2-3 rule. It's a very, very popular rule back in the US, but in India, the practice of this is very, very limited. So let me quickly take you what that 1-2-3 rule is. Now, if you look at this circle, think of this as your 1 meal. So what 1 stands for is the fat size. So out of this whole circle, 1% of it should be fat. 1 portion of it should be of fat. 2 portions of it should be protein, and 3 portions of it be carbs. Now if you go back to my previous post, I've clearly talked it out. I've told you that you've got to have at least 50 to 60% of your food coming from carbs. So this kind of adds to it. This is how you need to plan your meals. You need to have 1 portion from fat, 2 portions from protein, and 3 portions from carbs. This is very simple. Don't try to complicate it. I did it and you saw the result. Number 3, you gotta ask yourself that, hey, what am I going to do in the next? Is there an activity planned for me? Do I really need to eat as much? And then decide or take a call what you should eat. Now, when we kind of want to get back in shape, we typically go by the rule book that we gotta eat this, you gotta eat that. No, there is no rule book to weight loss or getting fit. You are the rule book. You can design your own book. Now you need to ask first question to yourself that, what am I going to do in the next 2 to 3 hours? If there's a physical activity heavy like a workout planned, what you may want to do is you're going to again go back to the 1 2 3 rule. Probably load more on carbs so that you will get that energy to burn in the workout. But if you know in the night that probably you're only going to sleep off, so what do you need that energy for? Nothing. But we got to eat because people say, oh, you gotta have a good dinner, I can't sleep. We gotta change that habit. That is the only way you can transform yourself. It's all about self-control and willpower. Number 4, you cannot lose fat and gain muscle at the same time. I have a lot of these kids coming up to me and they're asking me, Tarun, what I want to do is I want to lose this fat of my body and gain some muscle. But I want to do that at the same time. It's practically impossible. I'll tell you how. Now, if you want to gain muscle, what you typically would do is you would obviously eat more because your muscles require more energy, more food. But when you want to lose weight, you have to go in a calorie deficit mode, which means if your daily calorie intake is say 2000, you have to get down to 1800, 1700. That's how you'll start losing weight. So when two things are exactly opposite, how can you actually get one result out of the two? It's practically impossible. So understand that. That is the only way you can actually transform. So pick up your weeks and pick up your months that these are the weeks that I will gain size, these are the weeks that I will gain strength, these are the weeks that I will focus on hypertrophy, these are the weeks I'll focus on my endurance training, and I have a video planned for that called training periodization, where I will take you through how can you plan your trainings. The last point, supplement with a multivitamin. We all want to know about supplement, but one supplement which is often overlooked is a multivitamin. We go through so many diet plans, chances are we're always left with some deficiency or the other. So you got to supplement that, and that supplementation can only come from a multivitamin. It covers pretty much everything in it. So what I want you to focus on is don't worry about protein or whey protein or fat burners. The only supplement you really need to invest in if you want to start or you want looking at transforming yourself is a multivitamin. Follow these 5 thumb rules and you'll be surprised to see that result. Are you ready? See you.